Good afternoon, everybody. Rusty Blackwood here, and I welcome you to my loft for my Easter video today. I'm a day early. I had said that I probably wouldn't be doing my Easter video until Thursday, possibly even Good Friday, but I got thinking about it, and I've got a lot ahead of me between preparations for Easter dinner on Saturday and doing some book business, the last few days that I have to keep on and follow up with, and my revision of my PDF of Return to Autumn Part 2 I expect back anytime soon, and so that means new revisions again. That is going to take probably about 3 days to get through the PDF. Hopefully not any longer, and then hopefully this time everything will be a-okay, like good to go, and then Dawn and I can proceed with the next step of getting it ready and getting it uploaded to Amazon, and in both its formats of paperback and hardback, and making sure that the Kindle is underway as well, so when we release it everything will be available. Amazon is pretty good for being very, very efficient when it comes to when you upload a book, from the time that you do that until the time it goes live on their site is usually, they will tell you, anywhere within 24 to 48 hours, but my experience over the years has been that pretty much within the same day that it's uploaded, it becomes available to the public. So I'm hoping it will be the same this time, and then it's going to be a few days after that before the official press release, officially announcing the fact that the book is officially available, that it is now published, and you can get yourself a copy if you choose, and I hope you choose. I hope you do. And it's kind of a rainy day here today. Excuse me, phlegm as usual. We've had some thunder, and we've had some pretty torrential downpour of rain, and I'm just looking up at my skylight here just to see if the clouds are clearing. My youngest granddaughter Sarah, she's in grade 7, and she's 13 now, and she and some friends walk home from school each day. It's not the school, it's not like it's just around the corner. She's got a bit of distance to travel, and they walk. She's got some friends that live beyond her here, and so they walk together coming home, and so and as usual, I'm forever telling her that make sure that you check the weather before you go in the morning. And she's picked up in the morning by a very good friend of the family whose son also attends the same school as Sarah, and and so Sarah gets a ride to school every morning, but in the odd time I take her. But she walks home in the afternoon. She's been doing that now for quite some time. And but like if it's just torrential rain, or like prior in the winter, if there was like a really super blustery day, I'd go and pick her up, and so I would do the same if it was pouring down rain. And as I was going to say, she never thinks to take her umbrella with her. Typical kid. And so of course sometimes she gets a little damp by the time she gets home, And if she was walking in what was coming down a few minutes ago, then she would be soaking wet by the time she got home. And so, and you can't have that. And so, but like telling her to take the umbrella and her doing that is two different things. But typical kids, they don't think about things like that. I don't think I did either when I was her age and walking home from school. I don't think I was worrying about whether or not it was going to be raining or snowing or what I was going to be doing or how damp I might get or if I might get a cold because of it. Those kind of thoughts when you're that age they're the last thoughts that are on your mind or that come to mind or cross your mind, and it would be the same with Sarah. And so, but it appears to be brightening up. There's still 3/4 of an hour to go before she gets out of school, and it's usually about 15 to 20 minutes after, and she's home. And so maybe, you know, we'll be good to go, and everything will be fine. And so it was kind of neat hearing some thunder. It's like the first thunder of the season today, and typical for April. It's got to be expected that there's going to be thunderstorms and warmer temperatures, cooler temperatures. Could even still be snow. Like rusty, bite your tongue, but that is true. I've seen that happen different times, and because April can be in Canada, it can be a miserable month. I can remember many Aprils that were very, very nice, and I can remember some that weren't so nice. And I had a dear friend many, many years ago. She's been gone since 2008. My little Brit, Elaine, and she was just such a joy. I looked after her for 25 years, and became her caregiver in the last 2 to 3 years of her life. And she was much older than me, at least 30 years or more. And but oh my, she was a wealth of knowledge. If you needed to know something, you weren't sure about something, I knew I could always ask her for her opinion and what she thought of something. And she'd give it to me straight, and she, I learned a lot from her. She was a great supporter of women's liberation and equal rights, and I think if Elaine had lived before the turn of the 20th century, I think she would have been a leading suffragette, really and truly. That was the mindset she had, and so she walked her own path, and she had been a widow longer, actually, than she had been married. I met her in 1986, and I believe at that time she was 70 years old at that time. She passed away when she was 92, and when I met her in 1986, she had told me that she had been widowed at that point in time longer than she had been married, and she had 2 grown daughters, and I knew the eldest one, and lived in the Toronto area, and the younger daughter lived in Bermuda. I never met her in person, but I had spoken with her 2 or 3 times on the telephone when she would call, and I would answer for Elaine, and because it was getting to the point where Elaine she was finding difficulty putting long distance calls through, or if there was a problem with something, like because I believe in her house. I mean, it seemed like she had a phone in every room, but a lot of them were the old rotary phones and with the dial on the front. And she did have one or two push button phones, and didn't have a cell phone or nothing like that. And she was not used to the way it is now when you can't get a human being when you call someplace about a problem, and you have to, listen to the menu and push this and push that, and it sends you back, and then you got to do the whole thing again or whatever. And it is most frustrating for anybody that is used to that kind of thing. But for someone who was born in a different generation where none of that took place, it was very, very frustrating for Elaine. And so I would look after things like that for her. And so as I say, I only spoke on the phone to her younger daughter, never met her, but she predeceased her mother, and it was so sad. And I think that Elaine never really recovered from that, which is understandable. I don't know how anybody could recover from something that devastating, to lose your own child. I knew a family many, many years ago. They had 5 children, and there was either between Christmas and New Year's or just following New Year's, there was a fire, and they lost their entire family. Mother and father got out, and the father, had quite a few burns from trying to get back into the house. At that time, they were renting an old farmhouse that was a frame house, and this was back where in the area where I grew up, and this happened, and they lost all of their children. It was just so terrible, and that's one thing, I don't want to know. I never want to have to experience that. I know I have asked God different times, please don't ask me to cope with that, to go through that, because I think it is hard to lose your parents. Very difficult to lose your parents. It can be difficult to lose a brother. It can be difficult to lose a close cousin, or any cousin for that matter, if you're close. And definitely it's very hard to lose a friend. But to lose your own child that grew and lived within your body for 9 months, and that you give birth to, and you nurture, and you raise, and you cherish above anything, to have to lose that, no, that would just be, that would be so difficult, and I wouldn't even want to put myself in that situation. But I'm telling you, my heart goes out to these parents who have had to endure that, and just all you can do is pray for them, and will sunshine and brightness toward them, and into them, and strength to help them, and pray that God will guide them. And so It would be difficult, especially at special times of the year. Um, I know when I think about my mom and dad, uh, like it's coming Easter, and we always celebrated Easter the same as we celebrated Christmas, and it was special times like that that you think about oftentimes when those times come around, and you're making preparations for like your own family, your own kids, and grandkids, and for me now great grandsons, um, and and you're doing all those special things that you like to do, and that are like tradition that you want to continue the tradition on, and make it as memorable for them as you can. Well, my mom and dad did the same, for my brother and I when we were growing up. And my mom, there oftentimes was never a lot, but what she had, she was very adept at making like minimal seem plentiful more, and but it was special because they were there, and I'm sure she realized that, because she would have had memories of her own about different special times of the year with her parents, and I think that's just as generations come, you pass all these traditions down to them, and I know there's some nowadays. There's a lot of, especially young women. Um, they don't go in for special dishes and lovely cutlery and having beautiful crystal and things like this. Maybe it's my generation. I grew up in that. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was very, she had these things, and she taught them to her daughters. And even though Grandma was a farm wife, she still set a beautiful table. I'm not saying that she had Limoges or that she had top of the line crystal, because she didn't, but she still knew proper etiquette, and she knew proper table dressing and presentation. And these are the things that are passed down from grandmother to mother to daughter, and of course, in high school, in home economics, you're taught all of this, and but still, myself, I enjoy it. I enjoy setting a lovely table, like kind of have a theme to it, and set a beautiful table, because I think it makes it welcoming for those who are going to sit around the table. I think they feel more special than just throwing any old plate on the table, and a fork or a knife if you can find it, and throw it on there, and throw a Kleenex on there to wipe their fingers if they're fortunate, stuff like that. And there's a lot that just don't care. I mean, if that's their choice, then so be it. But it's not for me to criticize that. But that's not for me. I love to be able to have occasions to use those lovely things that I've acquired over the years and that were given to me as wedding gifts and things like that. And And so this Easter, I will be like any Easter, I will be getting them all out and doing my table with Easter theme and doing it the best that I can to hopefully give my family as much enjoyment as I can. And most years I do ham for Easter dinner, but this year I am trying something entirely different, and because we just had a family dinner about coming 3 weeks ago now, and where I had my entire family. They all made it a point to come. I do this occasionally where I I have a family dinner, and both my boys and their families um, all come, and they did, and it was just wonderful. And we had turkey, and we had ham, and I'd had a small turkey and a fair-sized ham that I had gotten over the holidays, and then they didn't get used, and so I had them in my freezer, and I thought, well, I'm going to get them out because sometimes they get left there for too long a period of time, and so I thought, no, I'm going to use them, so that's what I did. And so for Easter, I told them I would come up with something new and different, that not the same old, except for my angel Easter cake. I always have an angel food cake that I do up with whipped cream, and try to be inventive and creative as much as I can be with food coloring and things like that, because to me that's Easter. Easter is beautiful color and light, lovely desserts, and so I do that every year, and so that I will be doing the same. But I decided to do lemon chicken, and I'm going to do chicken breasts in a nice lemon marinade first, and then cooked in the lemon, and mushroom rice with mushrooms, and and then my eldest granddaughter is looking after vegetables, and whatever dessert they might like, other than knowing Graham's Easter cake, my angel cake, and so I'm looking forward to it, and like every year, and I will continue to do this for as long as I'm able to do it, and I think I got, hopefully, like touch wood, that I've got many more Easters ahead to be able to do what I've always done. And my mom did it up until she could no longer manage it anymore, and so I will be doing the same thing. My eldest daughter-in-law, she looks after Christmas each year, and does a beautiful Christmas dinner, and it sets a gorgeous table. Sometimes it's a little different than the traditional Christmas table that you might find, because she is extremely creative and talented in rustic decor, especially using burlap, wrapped burlap, and vines, and having little white lights amongst all of this, and holly, and it's just beautiful, and candles, and candles not presented in a traditional way, but presented in a very creative, fanciful, almost elfish way on her table, where there may be like it's not flat. It's like it's up and it's down along the very center of the long table, and in these shadow places, she will put these lovely little tea lights and things like this. It just gives a lift as your eyes travel down the table, and it's just lovely. I always look forward to it every year. She's done this since my eldest granddaughter Carson was 3, maybe, something like that, and she is coming 29 this June 9th, and her brother Ricky is coming 28, and so their mother has been holding Christmas for the family ever since the two of them were very, very small. And because up until then I would look after Christmas dinner as well for my family. But I could understand when my son had said, did I mind if they started having us come to their house for Christmas dinner rather than, have to pack the kids up after the Christmas morning, after the tree and everything, and take them here and take them there. And I could well understand that, and I fully agreed with it, because I will remember what it was like Christmas morning for me when my kids were really little, and you'd have the tree in the morning, and you'd have your breakfast, and then you had to go to your husband's side of the family, and then be to my mother for Christmas dinner, and that happened year after year after year until we had a place of our own. Well, then of course, I did Christmas dinner, and Easter, and so now Corrine does Christmas, and I do Easter, and as I say, I will continue to do that for as long as I'm capable of doing it, and I think it's just great. And once Easter is over, it won't be long, and summer will come, and there will be barbecues and lots of time spent around Jamie's pool, and that I like. I'm not a lover of swimming. I mean, I can swim, but I'm not. I have been in Jamie's pool. It's a big in-ground pool. About 3 times maybe, but it's not my thing. Even when my estranged husband Doug and I had our boat, and we were out on the lake and things, like we would drop anchor somewhere or whatever, or just shut the motor off and let it drift or whatever, and we had a huge big swim platform below the stern, but I never had the desire to want to get in the lake and swim, and I just enjoyed being aboard the boat, and enjoying the water, and enjoying the boat. It was like a floating cottage, and it was just fantastic. I couldn't wait for the work week to end to rush down and go aboard the boat and be on there all weekend, and that was just great. And the same with sitting around the pool. I really enjoy that, and I enjoy watching my family in the pool splashing around and having a good time, and that's great enjoyment, especially watching the little ones now as they learn, and so I look forward to that this year. And next weekend is Carter Thomas, my youngest great-grandson, is his 1-year-old birthday. And so you know, this year has really gone by fast. Like it seems like all the time is going by fast anymore. And so his mother and dad are having a party for him at the St. Catharines Museum. It's right down on the canal. Um, and and so that is going to be super, super nice. And family will all get together with Garrett's family again and celebrate Carter T, as I call him, his birthday. And so Harrison's birthday comes on the 4th of October, the day before mine. It oftentimes he can have his birthday. He's 2 now, and so both of his birthday parties were held outside in their backyard. They have a huge, huge backyard, and it was held there. But in April, especially, like Carter's birthday is April 17th, and the weather oftentimes at that time of the year is not nice enough to have anything outside. And so you gotta plan for something inside, and Carson and Garrett's little cottage is just not large enough to accommodate both sides of the family. Because there's not just 2 families there. There's my daughter-in-law Corinne's mother and father, and Garrett's mother and father, and his grandmother and grandfather, and me, and of course Carter's own grandparents, my son and daughter-in-law, and his uncle, and so and my youngest son Jason, and his wife Trish, and their daughters, 2 daughters, Sarah's and Elizabeth. And so the house isn't big enough to accommodate everybody like that, and so you have to have it someplace where everybody can sit and be comfortable. So I'm looking forward to that. It's being held on April the 15th, and Carter T's birthday is April 17th, so it's quite close. And so I will be able to talk about that in future videos, which no doubt that I will. And today, I mean, I haven't been talking about my work that much, like at all. I think I just mentioned on the fact of being able to look forward to having the PDF back soon to begin revision on that again, to get it ready to send it to publish. And so today is just centering on Easter, and mentioning Easter. I want to wish all of you, each one of you out there, a very, very happy and blessed Easter, and I hope that you enjoy your time with those whom you love, and with your friends, whoever you wish to celebrate it with, and remember the reason for Easter. He will be rising again, and as he as he does every year, and that, is why we celebrate Easter. What Jesus Christ did for us was beyond amazing, and to think that he did that for each one of us so that we could flourish and be free. And so celebrate him. Don't forget him, because that's what Easter is all about. And so I'm going to go now. I'm over my 30-minute mark. In fact, I'm almost to the 35-minute mark. So anyway, have a great time. I will be back soon to update you all on what's happening with Return to Autumn Part 2, and whatever else I come up with wanting to speak about. And so please like this video, comment it if you would, share it on, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Take care, everybody, and stand strong. Bye for now. Bye-bye. God's blessings.